Hey everyone, thanks for having me over to class yesterday. I wanted to send you a quick follow up to some of the things that we talked about yesterday. And the three things that I'm going to talk about are interlibrary loan. This is how you get stuff that we don't have, and you can get it for free. In addition, here's my email address. The second thing is I'm going to show you on Google how do I find surveys, instruments, questionnaires, whether they're qualitative or quantitative. There's a lot of them that are out there that you can look at. And the third thing is how do I do that same thing in the library catalog? So the first thing is interlibrary loan. I'm trying to zoom out. There we go. Do you see, from the Marriott Library homepage, do you see this over here, interlibrary loan? When you click on that and you do your University of Utah authentication, you can be prompted to put in like the metadata for a book or an article or a chapter or a DVD or a dissertation or any number of different things. So if you find the citation information and you can't get a hold of me or you want to just give it a go, it's not too hard. You just put in that citation information, click submit, and it'll go to interlibrary loan. They will find another school that has it and they will get it delivered to you through the same interface. So you'll get an email that says, hey, your article's arrived. You'll have to go into interlibrary loan again and then view the article from there. This works with all sorts of different schools and things. But the bottom line is it's free for you, subsidized service. Second thing, if I'm out on Google, let's go to the Google. Google.com. What's our doodle of, oh, I didn't get the doodle of the day. So when you go to Google, they want you to find all sorts of different things. And there's some advanced search tips that we talked about yesterday in the class, some of them that I'd never heard before. So I'm sure there's a lot more than this. But when you do a search just out in general, it kind of prioritizes it based on your history, your cookies, your physical location. So that'd be like your IP address. But did you know that you can type in a context? So I haven't looked for Cinderace Raid's Pokemon Scarlet, but now I'm just like, ooh, what is that? So if you type in quantitative survey and a colon, what that'll do in Google speak is it'll say, okay, everything before the colon is the context. And so without any spaces, I can type in STEM education, women, gender. And so if I didn't have that colon there, it'd kind of do its best. But when I have that colon there, all the keywords after it are saying, okay, I want to find things that are labeled as a quantitative survey with the keywords STEM, education, women, gender. And this is the open web, but there's a lot of scientific papers or white papers or policy papers that are out there that aren't necessarily published in scholarship. Oh, ResearchGate. So, you have to turn on your information literacy lens. Some of these might be bunk, but some of them might be pretty good. There's like attitudes where you could measure that. Let's try a different one. Let's do quantitative. Is it Likert or Likert? The debate goes on. But that's one of those scales where you can do, I feel strongly or I don't feel very strongly. And there's a different context. Or you could look at questionnaire, quantitative questionnaire, and you'll get even more. It looks like that ResearchGate. And you'll start to validate and how these things go. If you run stuck and you can't get any of these, sometimes people's surveys or we call instruments are unavailable. They want you to pay for them. So let me know if you run stuck with that, and I'll do my best to help you get something. Look at that, the National Institute of Health. Da-na-na. That one looks pretty good. All right, how do we find these things in the library catalog where scholarship and books and dissertations are presented? The library catalog used to be this list of cards, but it also, in some places, used to be like a book. And it's like a catalog means that it's a bunch of different sources compiled so you can look. It's like a huge index. That's why it's still called the catalog, if you ever hear somebody like me talk about it. It's just this main search. What I would like you to do is go to the advanced catalog search. And do you remember how we had like synonyms or related terms? Let me show you a fun way of laying out a search that's more systematic But it's annoying because every time you hit search, you kind of lose it. So write it down as you go. And I'll talk about what that means in just a second. So we've done interlibrary loan. We've done how to find or look for surveys that we can maybe pull information or questions from. But in the advanced search of the catalog, so this indexes a lot of the articles, so it's kind of like Google Scholar. It doesn't have everything, but it's kind of got a good mix of everything. But there's like 150 years plus of books and book chapters, dissertations, DVDs, you name it. There's even video games in here. So let's do that again. Quantitative. That'll be my first one. And my second field will be questionnaire, or, so here's where I can put in synonyms, or survey, or in psychology they call it an instrument. What's another name? I could choose that Likert, but I'm going to skip that one. I think we're pretty good with this one. What's our population that we want to work with? Women or female or, whoops, or gender. So this is quantitative versus qualitative. So we could have different iterations or synonyms of that. This one is like, well, what's the instrument? Is it a questionnaire, survey? We could also do or interview. As you come up with ideas, you can just throw them in the search. And then the new line, the last line, let's have this be STEM or math or physics. You get the idea. Oh, I forgot. I want to do education. Isn't this? It gets out of hand. But I want that context. Education or higher education. I put more than one word in quotes. Whoops. And if you misspell something, it's not going to correct you. Or university or college. Okay, what are we going to get with this? Another thing that I would recommend, you can choose material type if you only want scholarly articles, but the most important things for any scholar are going to be in the title. So for quantitative or questionnaire, I think I want those in the title or the subject. But this is something you get to mess around with as you go. You experiment. Whoops. Those are the Boolean operators, the and. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. I want the field. I want the title. So I want it to be quantitative questionnaire. And then everything else shows up in what we call metadata. So that would be like the abstract, the authors, the title, everything else. Okay, I'm going in. That's a lot of keywords. You don't have to do this much. Let's see if it choked or if it gave me something. We're looking at about 70 to 100 million plus sources. Hey, there's only 6 results. Quantitative query. Quantitative analysis of tissue effects. Okay, that's not what we're looking for at all. I want, educational success, clinical workflow, statistical methods for human rights, progress towards gender equality. So maybe, so here's I want to edit my search, and you can mess around with it up here. So in quantitative, let's change title to just any keyword, any field. That might have messed it up because not everyone says it's quantitative at the beginning. Fingers crossed. There's no evidence that crossing fingers does anything good, but fingers crossed. So we go from 6 to 51. See, as you go through this, but your goal isn't to find the perfect resource. Your goal is to go through many resources until you feel confident with the ones that you've chosen. This has been Dale. I hope you have a lovely weekend.